I used to think that this journey began in the story of Kelly on the day where she killed herself. February 9th, 2008 was a day that began like any other. But unlike any other, when she woke up, something in her knew this was the day. This was the day that what she always referred to as Plan D would go into effect. This was the day that she would take her life, and although she had no idea what would come beyond that, she also had no idea what would unravel from that. I've shared so many times on my channel and in other engagements about my near-death experience, so we're not going to go into that in detail here, but I will link that story within the description of these sharings, just simply so you have a way to get to them if that's something that interests you. What interests me more than that at this stage is what's come since that near-death experience. For that really was the very, very seeming entry point to looking at the whole picture. And that whole picture began March 3rd, 1968, the day that this story of Kelly apparently was born. She was born of two beautiful, sweet, very excited parents, Kevin and Charlene. Their chapter was one of not any different than anyone else's. They fell in love. They met in a small town. They came together with an excitement about what the journey into life would look like. He, a Navy guy, her, a hair cutter, a beautician, and they both had these idealistic presumptions about what life would look like. So they wed and they married. Their firstborn came 18 months before I did, my sister. Such a sweet, sweet soul, and so completely different than I am. And into the world I came. Mom, dad, sister, grandparents, this whole community of family, seemingly ready to accept me into this world and invite me to have all these glorious experiences that we call life. But as we all know, in all of our experiences, with the yin comes the yang, and all of these journeys have been necessary. All of them have been part of this dreamscape. All of them have been part of the mirage. So this audio series is going all the way back, stepping through so many of these things that we seem to think are troubling or full of suffering. And now there is an awareness that each of them has been necessary to lead up to this moment, this chapter being recorded right now, seeming as 57 years later, yet never having been the case. Yes, we'll talk about the near-death experience. We'll go into more details about how that's unraveled. But I think it's necessary to step all the way back in this series to really lay some foundations that I think will make sense to each of you in your own chapters of life, your own mirage stories. You see, We seem to have come into this experience, this expression of this, getting to know itself as many, yet never having been that. Through all of these aspects of others, seeming to cross our paths at the exact right time and in exact right ways. None of this is a coincidence. None of this is happenstance. And none of this is true. As soon as these words leave these lips, as soon as these thoughts are said out loud, as soon as this audiobook is heard by the listener on the other end, it's no longer true. It never happened. There's nothing that points to it but what we call a memory. And memories are nothing more than thoughts stacked on top of each other, one at a time, creating a story in the mirage. So I invite you into my mirage and all of the cast of characters that have led up to this moment called now. As I always do, I'm sharing vulnerably. I'm sharing from a place of raw truth. But it is no one else's truth. And it is not here to persuade anyone to do anything. I have no dogma to share. I have no tools to give you. I have nothing more than a voice that seems ready to talk and a story that feels ready to share. This story is not to get likes. It's not to create a following. It just has an aliveness that wants to dance. So dance it shall. And if it aligns to you and it opens and awakens something in you, so be it. And if not, just let it pass you by. Regardless of what this does to or for you, the listener, please know that I send you so much compassion and love. I know that this journey in the human sense does not always seem easy. I know we often feel completely alone in the journey. I know there are times where we want to literally escape ourselves, or that wild stallion within us wants to rip out of this skin to not know this thing that it so resists being. But hopefully in this journey of my own sharing, some of that will soften in yours. And that is the only thing, literally the only intention that is being raised and cast here. One of love, one of kindness, one of compassion, and one of understanding. I hope this journey finds you well. I know that I've been in silence yet again, and that too has been perfect. Much love. Until next time.